Peace and high frequencies, y'all. I am going to talk about the dream. I'm also going to talk about this 1010 portal ascension activation energy that I feel like I received in the dream space. And then also this 1010 portal. We'll hear about Lionsgate 88 portal. We have 777, 666. All of these portals that have to do with numbers and codes, you all. So they really have to do with the numbers. All right. And numbers are symbols, are sounds, are energy, which are vibrations and frequencies. Okay. So when we talk about these portals are leading us into activating codes. And these activating codes are codes within peace, hearts, and mind, peace, high frequencies, male. And these portals and these codes are activating information within us. So when we talk about portals, I don't know if it's people who watch this who may be new to spirituality, they may be new to their spiritual walk, and they may be thinking about portals outside themselves. These portals are within us. So when you do these 1010 meditations, these 1010 activations and ascensions that you may find on YouTube, or you may also do them on your own. Nobody's you have to do anybody else's program. And we're going to talk about that too. The 1010 is within you, and those numbers are activating energy inside of you. Even if you can go into those energy portals when you catch the codes on your phone. If you see these like divine connection, now we're talking, if you see this on your own cars in front of you while you're driving, or if you see this in a phone number, or like yesterday, I was on my timeline on Facebook. One of my friends I graduated high school just had a baby, and the baby was born on 10/5 at 3:33 p.m. Right? That was automatically, I knew that was a code. I knew that was an activation. I knew that was ascension. And last night gave me confirmation that that's what's going on. Sometimes, like previously, third eye itch, previously before y'all, when I was first going on my spiritual walk, and you all may experience this, you'll feel tired, you may have a headache, migraine, you may get body aches, you may not be able to sleep, you could have insomnia, or you could be sleeping all the time and you can't stop sleeping. These can be ascension symptoms. Okay. Like right now, like if you're getting activated, I know when I first got activated, when the guy activated me, I'm activated, my kundalini rises from information. And so the guy that activated me and raised my kundalini energy to my crown and got me activated, when he was talking and when he was explaining the blue people, the red people, the indigo people. Happy Indigo Day, y'all, too. It's Indigenous Peoples Day. So they say on the Gregorian calendar. And so when he would talk about these people and he would break down the Bible, my third eye would just itch. And I would just rub like my face, like my whole face, and my third eye would just be itching the whole time he would talk. And in my eyes, I rubbed my eyes, and I didn't know at the time what was going on. Until I listened to, just recently, I listened to a lecture from Bobby Hemmett. And Bobby Hemmett was talking about various ways. I think he went over about 10 ways that you can have your Kundalini energy rise. And one of those ways is through information. And that's how I end up going up and ascending. My day is going good, hearts and mind. It's going really awesome. I'm here in Memphis right now. Let's see what we got. It's 11:17 a.m. here. And I have to be at work at 1 from 1 to 7, which is cool. So I'm excited about getting there because I'm passionate about what I do. So I love what I do. I love getting to work. So I'm pretty good today. Thank you for asking. How's your day? How are you? How are you, Divine Connection? How y'all doing today? And so in the message, while I'll have someone breaking down information to you, that's when I have a Kundalini energy awakening, or a Satari, or whatever else. I forgot the other name for it, where you have just an instantaneous spark of awakening or information. And you don't stay in that space long, but when you do, it just rises you up and it brings the Kundalini energy up, and you have this like download of information or upload of information and this divine spark really quick. You have this third eye awakening. And that's what happens when I receive information. Oh, good. I'm glad you are well, hearts and mind. So, I had a dream last night, and it brought me to the understanding of why, you all, I've been talking about cleansing the gut, right? Cleansing the gut, cleansing the gut, cleansing the gut. That has been my divine message. That has been what I've been on. Even this morning, I started and I'm making this frowny face because it's so nasty. But even this morning, I started day one of my intestinal worm cleanse, parasite cleanse today. And so today was day one. And so before I even took it, my stomach started churning a little bit. My mind said, go ahead and just do a microdose. And I was like, why is my mind telling me to do a microdose in coffee instead of doing this parasite cleanse? Because last night I had already decided in my mind that I'm going to start a parasite cleanse today and do 1 ounce in the morning, 1 ounce in the evening for the whole week until it's gone. And that's what I need to do to cleanse out my gut and get rid of any type of worms that may be in there. And for some reason, while I was pouring, I kid you not, I could feel them like going against me doing this. And I remember I talked to Mel the other day, and she said this when you said that when I was talking about cleansing the gut and going on a fast and doing fruits only, how you kind of like pulled away a little bit and you really didn't want to do it. That's what happened this morning. And I'm standing in the kitchen with the bottle, with the intestinal worm away bottle and my ounce container to measure it out. And I could feel a cringe in my gut. Like my gut started to cringe when I was getting ready to pour it out. And it didn't want me to do it. And when it didn't want me to, that's when I was like, shit, yeah, I got to do this shit. Fuck that. I'm finna pour this and take it, because whatever's in me that's trying to get me from doing it needs to go. So I did that this morning. And I was like, okay, you do 1 ounce in the morning, 1 ounce in the evening. And I haven't done a parasite cleanse since 2017. And I haven't done one since 2017 because the one that I took that someone made for me, she did it too strong. And I don't know what the hell. I was on the floor rolling around. Everything was coming out everywhere. I'm sorry if it's TMI, y'all, but I'm telling you, everything was coming out everywhere. And I was just like, hell, I don't want to do that no more. So it took me some time to get over that. But going into that, even talking about that this week, it has been part of an ascension process for me. Girl, yeah. Shakria made me. I had Shakria. It was like $100 something. I bought a parasite cleanse from the elder, and she made it really strong, and it had me rolling around on the floor. I was like, ooh, I ain't gonna do this no more. And I was going raw for the whole month. So I was trying to figure out, if I've been raw all month, why am I doing all of this? Like, I've been eating clean. But anyway, neither here nor there, as they say. But I'm getting ready to bring it all back into why that has been a divine message. Why that has been a divine message, y'all. The dream gave me confirmation. And when I woke up this morning, that further let me know. I went back to the dream to know that even in the 10 portal, remember I told you the ones and the zeros, the yin and the yang, that's the masculine and the feminine, that's the matrix, that's the world that we live in, the duality, 10, a lot of different things depending upon how you look at it. It can even be the number 2. So when we're looking at this portal, this code that's being pushed into our avatar and our physical form, and even lightening up our spirit, then we have to look at what all comes along with that. In my dream, I was in some country. I don't know what country I was in. Normally, I'll pick up on the energy of where I am. I cannot say that I was in Africa, but I knew it wasn't a location here in the Americas. It wasn't anywhere here. It was some country. But I arrived to the class late. The class had already been going on. They were preparing for finals. And I had missed the review for the finals. Now, it was one person out of the class. This lady in the class, or a young girl, I just remember it was feminine energy. She had like a packet, and she gave me the packet, and she said, "Here, this my packet. This is what you need. Just make copies of it so you can have all your information." I was like, "Okay, cool." Now, I can't even remember everything it was going over. Yeah, it was some math stuff on there, some complicated math shit. It was another language that was on there. And while I was trying to make copies of this, we were also going through tests, like real life physical tests of things that we were having to combat and remove with our mind. It wasn't physical, but it was like mind work. Now, the whole time, y'all, I got this packet. I'm trying to make copies of this packet. Like, I'm seeing myself, like, flip the page, turn it over, making a copy. While I'm trying to do that copy, and that's going on, I shift, like, my whole, like, third eye vision or myself shifts from the copies, which are still being made somewhere in some realm. I'm gone, and I'm doing a battle of these types of like creatures. I can't even describe to you what the creatures look like. But while I was there, and I was still like there with my group that we had to test with, and we were all collectively still doing this work together, there was this bird that came. Now, it was this huge bird that swooped down like over us, and I saw him in front of us, and it grabbed something that was holding on to something. I don't know what it was, but then it released it and it flew off. And when it released it, it was like two other little birds that were flying, and it was two birds flying off together. Now, I did say, y'all, we in the 10-10 portal. 1 and 1 is also 2. Right? So that bird left and left two small birds flying off. And I was like, how in the hell did this bird just produce two more birds in the sky and let them go? I don't know what realm I was in. I go back to making the copies. Then the professor or teacher, whomever shows up and was talking to me about being late and why I wasn't there and da-da-da-da-da. And they was like, well, you need to get this information. I was like, I already got somebody that's taking care of it. They gave me a copy, so I'll be prepared. So then I'm talking to the lady who gave me the packet to make the copy so I could be prepared for the test. So I'm asking, I'm like, when is the test? You know what I'm saying? Like, when is this test? And she said, well, it's one going to be on Tuesday. It's another test that's going to be Thursday or something. She started naming these days, and I was like, okay. So one test, I remember she was talking about the math test was going to be on Tuesday. I remember repeating it. And I said, when is the language? She said, I think that's Thursday, Friday. I said, okay, so I got another week. I got some time to get prepared for that. Da-da-da-da-da. So then the dream shifts on. I'm gone from that reality, y'all. And then I move back into this earth plane space, but in a different timeline or dimension or something. But it was still here. It was still on this earth plane. Now, I'm in this car wash. I don't know how I got inside this car wash, but this car wash was a vegan-based car wash. It was very weird. People lined up, it's set off in a different location, and only people who knew about it were able to come and be there. But I'm inside of the car wash where the cars are getting washed. And I'm like, why am I inside here? Like, I got to get out. Like, these things are going, the different pieces, but it was like a vegan ice cream type of popsicle car wash, y'all. So they had different flavors, and I'm eating the lemon part of the car wash while it's going through. It's really weird. So I go through and I talk. A friend of mine ended up being there that I knew. And I told her, I'm like, I don't know how I got in this car wash, but I was in the car wash. But when did they open? And we got to talking, and I was like, well, where's my purse? And she was like, my purse is in the drawer. Now I go out, start seeing other people that I know, a famous local lawyer here that I know. We end up having a conversation, and it was like this. The location was almost like a palace or a mall, and it had other things going on at the same time. And I was like, oh, I really don't do events like this, and I'm ready to go. So I go back to get my purse out of the drawer that she had put it in. And she was like, where's your purse? Do you have your key? And I said, no, I don't have my key. And she was like, yeah, you're supposed to have a key to get your purse. And I was like, oh shit. So we opened up the drawers looking, my purse is gone. And she was like, I said, oh God, somebody took my purse. And I remember I've had multiple dreams about people taking my purse. And it feels like every time I do, there's something getting ready to happen here in this realm when it comes down to ascension and elevation, because I lose it, but then I found it. Remember the other dream I had where I found two purses in the car when I thought mine was gone. But anyway, I can't find the purse. She said, don't worry about it. She said, she had like this sensor that could like pick up, it would like beep really loud, almost like you know, outside looking for metal or something, a metal detector. So she's scanning the room, and as she gets closer to it, the beeps start to really go off faster and faster. She goes up to the top of the door, and there's my purse hanging up at the very top of this door. And I said, oh, there it is. So I go through it, and I'm looking through and making sure everything was there. And I said, oh, good. You know, my wallet was there. I said, oh, my ID, my driver's license was in there. And all of my money, it was like stacks of money that was in there. And I was like, oh, even they left my money. I said, nobody even took my money. I said, so why did they move it to put it on top of the door? I said, this is weird, but I'm glad I got my purse. So I'm leaving out. And while I'm leaving out, I see another famous wealth coach that's there. And I speak to her. It's like we knew each other. I speak to her, then I leave out and go around to this waterfall to get in my vehicle. And that was another part of the dream. So I had like 3 different parts of the dream. Another part of the dream is not really clear, but it was still me doing these tests. But this time I had a computer, and it's very vague. It was still me doing these tests, but it's very vague. And if it comes back to me later on today, y'all, I am gonna come and record it and then upload it. So okay, cool. With that dream with the test, I definitely feel like in that dream with it talking about me making the copies while still going through tests and preparing for a test with the paperwork and then actually doing it, is similar to what's going on right now. That's why I'm connecting it back to cleansing the gut. Part of my process, and for anybody else who it resonates with, because like I said yesterday, it's not for everybody, but part of my process is mastering the avatar. All right. And that's part of what my nose itching. Every time either I'm gonna sneeze or my nose itching, y'all, when I'm talking about something and receiving a message. For me, part of my process here in this realm is mastering the avatar. And I have to cleanse the gut in order to receive the information and to reach my next level of ascension. And it's always been that for me, because I do this cleansing process every year. It's not like I don't do it. I just haven't done the parasite cleanse since 2017. But every year, 2 or 3 times a year, I'm doing some type of cleanse. So part of my mission here is to master this avatar. This avatar has to be mastered in order for me to be able to receive higher knowledge and higher divine information. Okay. And that's just for me and those who resonate with that. If you don't resonate with that, it's not for you, because I do know there are people who can pretty much do anything with their avatar and they already have ascended and they still receive information. They don't have to do anything with their avatar. And that's why I said this is just for me. This ain't nothing that's for everybody. So I don't want people to think what I'm saying is for the entire collective of all light beings and all of that. Now, secondly, a lot of people, this was on my heart to share as well. There are some people who have come into an awakening of their energy, of what's going on. of, they know that this is a lie, and they're looking into how can they do magic, how can they do spells, how can they do ritual work, how can you set up an altar, what do you need to do during this 1010 portal, what are some ways that they can be able to connect it to their divinity, how can they connect to what their mission is. You have all of these questions when you're newly coming into your awakening. So the message for me to share with you, for those who have that message and you're still here listening on this channel, is to cleanse your avatar. You have to cleanse your gut. You have to go back through and swipe everything clean, because right now you're running off of a program that is distorted, that is parasitic and toxic. Okay, so if you try, and this is just me because I'm the Black Fit Witch, so this is the message that comes to me. Somebody else may tell you something different. It just depends on what your spirit resonates with until you get to what you can receive directly and your soul essence is able to come through. So some of you are still working through the spirit and not the soul essence. So first foremost, you have to cleanse your gut. You have to cleanse the first mind, which is your gut. You have to get your gastrointestinal system clean. You have to start to purify the blood. So you may have to do do a liver cleanse. So you may have to do some burdock root to cleanse the blood. You may have to do some milk thistle to cleanse the liver. You may have to just eat straight up fruits and go raw. Increasing your exercise, doing your Tai Chi Qigong so you can get better with your breathing, because your breathing helps to circulate those toxins out and also oxygenate the blood, which gives you more energy, which makes you feel full even though you don't eat. Like the way that we breathe can make us feel full and we won't need as much food. The breath can do that. That's why we have people that are breatharians. And you'll get to that point. I can get to that point when I'm cleansing, where I'm just focused on my breath and food does not attract me. Like it's not something that I feel like I need, nor something that I want. Because now I'm not working from the physical vessel. I am working with my soul essence. And when my soul essence is in control of the avatar, right, then the soul essence is empowering, invigorating, fulfilling, and satiating my physical vessel and the avatar, if y'all catch what I'm putting down. So it's not all about I got to eat 4 or 5 meals a day. It's not all about I got to take in this much. It's about now the soul essence is in, like the title yesterday, now I'm circulating light. The light is circulating because now it's the soul essence that is in charge. And when the soul essence is in charge, soul don't eat food, does it? The soul eat food. The type of food for the soul is going to be that breath work. It's going to be the meditation. It's going to be that Tai Chi Qigong. For some people like me, it's martial arts and movement and exercise. And some people, it's yoga. For some people, it's sitting out in the sun, receiving sunlight. And the sunlight is able to feed the soul. So it's not all about eating food. But if you're not there yet, I don't suggest you to go without food. And you're just now starting on this journey and you're not guided by the soul to do that. You want to do something out of the ego, right? And you want to see how far you can go. And, I want to shoot fire from my hands and I want to levitate. It ain't all about that. Okay. So just like in my dream, and I was going through these physical tests that were more telepathic than anything. There were things that we were having to shift and move with our minds, but it was a lot of things going on. I also had the test where I was making copies so I could be able to, it was almost like I needed to know this information that was on paper so I could be able to implement it with my mind, right? So all a part of this ascension, these codes. All right. And I've been seeing a lot of 1111, 1010, 111, 333, 555. I've seen vehicles with tags 777. I've been seeing a lot of 696969 or things that are in 96 or 69. I've been seeing those numbers. Mirror numbers 2112, 2332. So a lot of the codes have already been coming through as kind of like, hey, it's time again. It's time to level you up again because we are getting prepared for new earth. New earth is the aspect of the subconscious mind, right? It is a portal, just like I said, this 1010 portal, all these codes, these are aspects of the subconscious mind that are going to be manifested in the physical form. So once we're able to get to the new earth here, once for me, is releasing all the toxins and the parasites and exercising and moving and being aware of what I'm letting into my orifices, what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, what I'm speaking about, and how I am speaking. So once you clean and once you cleanse your gut, your conversations are of a higher frequency and a higher vibration. Even those conversations that you entertain. I had a couple of people say some negative things the other day, and I didn't even entertain it, nor did I respond to it. I just let them get their piece out, and then I totally went on to say something else because I can't sit in that vibration. I can't sit in that energy because I'm preparing to be removed from that type of realm onto something else. And so through this preparation phase, through this testing phase, then a lot of things we have to remove telepathically in our minds. We have to shift the atmosphere with our minds. And that's when people will shift and move from our lives. That's when the foods that we thought we desired before would shift and no longer be. All right. That's when relationships will shift because they cannot no longer hold a space vibrationally where you are because there's no match anymore. The match has been removed. And now you're becoming a match of higher frequency and divine light. And you're allowing that to circulate and radiate through you. So for me, when I do it, and every time that I do a cleanse, even like yesterday when I was just out grocery shopping, I saw spirits look at me and I saw souls look at me. All right. Because I look at people in the eye, whether I know them or not. I look at people in the eye because I know that I'm covered. And you can tell when someone recognizes your energy. Usually the innocence of a child will recognize your energy way faster than an adult will. And then maybe the spirit or sometimes the demons and the spirits of that are in people recognize you when you're out. Or because they're drawn to light. They're drawn to light too. So demons recognize the energy and the light that the light bearers and us that who are of light and light energy and star seeds, they'll recognize us because they're drawn to that light. Light and dark attract. And so going back to those people who are new to their spiritual path and they are trying to figure out, well, I don't know how to set up an altar. I don't know how to do protection spells. I don't know what to do when I'm going through these ascension symptoms. I don't even know what ascension symptoms are. Like I said, the first step is for your cleanse, right? You go through the cleanse. The second step, once you're doing the cleanse and you kind of rid yourself of, all the toxins that you've been taking in, you want to sit in quiet. You want to sit in a quiet space. A lot of times you'll hear about a lot of people who are spiritual on their spiritual path or journey that, they don't do a lot of talking. They don't go out a whole lot and they're mostly at home. And the reason being is that they're receiving divine information and they know that if they're out and about and doing a lot of things with a lot of people, then they won't receive the messages. and the information is going to be distorted. So it's best to be silent. If you can go a day or a couple of days without talking and just being in silent meditation, if you can do one day of silent meditation, that's awesome. That's what you need to do. One day of just silence, meditation, and I mean no TV, no texting, no phone calls, just being in meditation, being intentional about what you're putting in your body, being intentional about how you sit and quiet and just listen or just sit out in nature. All right. Next, setting up the altar. When I first set up my altar, and shout out to Chief Yuya, one of the things that Chief Yuya talked about on his podcast, Enlightenment and Transformation, is making sure that you set up your altar with the north, south, east, and west. They the directions according to the compass also correlate with elements. All right. So knowing your north, south, east, and west, and then knowing those elements that correlate to those different directions. And when I first started, and I can't even remember now, I knew it like the back of my hand, y'all, because when I first would go into my fitness studio, the first thing I would do was set out my white sheet, and I would set up the placements north, south, east, and west. And then I would have my incense for the air. I would have my crystal to represent earth. I would have a candle to represent fire. And then, of course, I have a water, and I pour water into a jar, or I have the water that I'm going to drink for that day in my canister or whatever. Sit it. And it was those 4 directions. Now, I can't remember which one, north, south, and east and west, and you all can look that up. But making sure you set up the directions with those placements that I just gave you that represent those elements. Those are some examples of what you can do to represent those elements, and put that in your altar as setting up. I don't suggest anybody subscribe to any type of spiritual religion unless it's just for knowing of yourself better, but not getting deep into their practices where they're wanting you to keep them thriving and sending them money and, making sure that they're moving and doing all of that. Because it's something they should be doing on their own, unless you want to freely gift. And so a lot of people or religions or spiritual practices out here will want you to pay them for what has been given to them freely. And so I don't believe in that. I don't subscribe to anybody paying anybody unless you want to gift and unless you want to donate and it comes from your heart. But someone telling you got to, in order to be in this and in that, you got to pay them. Mm-mm. I don't subscribe to that. And people have their, different opinions on it. For me, I don't think you should have to pay anybody to be in anything that was given to them freely. If they want to donate or they want to give a love offering, they can. But that's just my personal opinion. You choose to do what you want. If you want to give these people $1,500 and $2,500, because they were able to sit in silent meditation, cleanse the gut, and receive divine messages. You can do the same thing. Nobody is higher than you. Nobody is all-knowing. You're all-knowing. Nobody knows more than you. Nobody has more power than you do. You got all the power. You got all the knowing. You're omniscient. You're omnipresent. You know everything. So whatever they have that you look up to, just look into receiving it for yourself and you'll get there. But it takes discipline. And that's what happened with the church. A lot of people not disciplined. So a lot of people got pulled like sheep and blind because they don't want to do the work, and they'd rather have somebody else that'll go into meditation, go into cleansing, go into retreats, and go and do all of this spiritual work, and then come back with the divine message when they can have the divine message come straight to them. All right. So no, you can receive the divine message because you are all knowing. You got it. You just have to be disciplined enough to go in and receive it. It's already downloaded in your DNA. We already have everything we need that's running through us. All we have to do is channel it and ask it and invoke the energy to come out so it can give us what we need to know. And for me, I can channel in really good and receive really good when my vessel, my avatar is clean. My avatar has to be clean. All right, so as we are in this 1010 portal, 1010 ascension, again, pay attention to your dreams. All right. Make sure that you're listening to anything that's going on outside of you, right? So messages, you may hear people talking while you're out at the grocery store. What are some keywords that they're saying? Just like I was at a walk on Saturday, and the lady's ankle that was there had the number 333 tattooed on her ankle. So I'm paying attention to that, paying attention to car tags that may be driving around you, paying attention to the sky, looking up in the clouds, looking at the weather. What does the weather look like? Emails, when do messages come through? Looking at all of that is giving you the information and the triggers that you need in order for you to receive these codes and to activate the avatar to connect with the soul. Okay. So once we have the avatar connected with the soul, then we walk in this different spirit. We have this spirit of light upon us, this spirit of whatever energy you work with upon us. So that's what I want to share from the dream state. That's what I wanted to share with this 1010 portal energy. That's what came to me. We are still circulating light. We're circulating light to ascend, going into new earth. These are some of the things that we have to do. That you are your own altar first. This physical body is your altar. So first and foremost, you have everything you need here. North, south, east, and west. Okay, we have air, earth, fire, and water all within this vessel. So if you're not drawn to an altar, ain't nothing wrong, baby. That's you good. If you drawn just to work with your own body and do martial arts or do yoga or do tai chi, that's all you need to do. That's it. That is it. Everything else is just a tool. Just like when I was looking at Sandman, y'all, it ended up good, and then it went so gay. And then I was just like, I can't watch this. My mouth's too gay. But in that series, it's on Netflix called the Sandman, and one of the things he needed was his tools. When he was captured, and they took his tools because these people did, this magic to bring him in. They took his ruby. I told you, I'm still going on with this ring, y'all. This ring been in my dream. This is ruby. My mama left it to me. This ruby ring is something powerful about this ruby. But he had his ruby. And I got to look into that because it's interesting that the Sandman got a ruby. And I'm always dreaming. And I got a ruby. I don't know. There's some kind of connection there. But he had a ruby, and he also had his helmet, and he also has his sand. He has like a pouch of sand, and these are his tools. Because he has people are dreams, and he has nightmares. He's over dreams and nightmares. But anyway, when he got captured, they took his tools. But this is the thing. This was like the message for me. Even though he got captured and they took his tools, he was still the Sandman over the endless. He was still the Lord over his realm. Just because he have his tools, he didn't give a fuck. This man went to the gates of hell. He was still, and then just watching it and just watching his energy in the movie, he's not wavered. That man is like, I don't give no fucks. I am who I am, and I'm not connected, nor am I attached to anything, nor people, places, or things. And I will fight Lucifer. I will fight whoever I got to do to get what I need to do in order to be Lord over my realm, with or without my tools, and I'm going to get my tools back. But even when he didn't have his tools, he was still good. So that's how I want y'all to be like, with or without crystals, I'm good. With or without an altar, you still are all You still are all knowing. You still omniscient. You still omnipresent. Now, with your tools, you probably could do some more things, and you could work some more magic, of course, when you have more things and more tools. But you are the tool. You are everything you need. And so when I saw him do that and moving through the realms and dimensions and, trying to gather all of his energy back because he had been depleted of his powers, had been taken and depleted. He was trying to gather everything back up to power him back up. But to know that he didn't even really need the tools to navigate was definitely a message for me. And so I wanted to share that with you all. It's called The Sandman on Netflix. I like when I first saw it, it said witchcraft, dark, and fantasy. And I was like, oh, I love it. Anything that's witchcraft, I'm gonna watch. No matter what it is. If it's dark and if it's witchcraft and witch stuff, I love it. So yeah, that was my message for today with this 1010 Ascension portal. Make sure that you do what you need to do in order to cleanse your gut, get rid of these parasites, get in some movement, get in some exercise, eat healthy, drink plenty of distilled water, whatever type of water you choose. I do distilled. And get in your meditation today. I've been seeing a lot of butterflies too lately. I just saw another. So I'm going to leave you in peace and always